What is going on to you, Aquarius? So there's a link in the comment section below called a Linktree link. Click on it. It will redirect you to a website which has all the ways to financially support the channel. So I can most definitely keep the show going. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has reached out so far. I do tarot readings, birth chart readings. I also help you learn the tarot yourself, as well as have a lot of books out that are available on Amazon. So thank you in advance. So for you, Aquarius, you have the Three of Wands, the Ace of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. These three, okay? So, So some of you, Aquarius, you have the Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands. So some of you, Aquarius, may have actually been liberated, or you may have broken up from someone fairly recently. Either that, or you know, okay, so you, Aquarius, basically may have essentially broken up fairly recently. I'm seeing that a lot of you, Aquarius, are like, you know what? You had this real talk, this real conversation with this person. It was very direct. It was very transparent. And one of the things that you, Aquarius, learned about them is they did not want to have that conversation with you. And you, Aquarius, were very serious. Like, look, if the two of you don't really have any kind of, this is what the Eight of Swords represents. You know, you was like, look, if they don't have that kind of conversation with you, where it's very raw and open and transparent, then you, Aquarius, won't be in their life at all anymore. You will leave them alone. And the the Eight of Swords represents you, Aquarius, was not really willing to budge. A lot of you didn't really care about losing this individual because to you, some of you, Aquarius, may have had it up to here with this person anyway. So you didn't care. You know, a lot of you, Aquarius, really didn't give two squats about what it is that they had to do, because for you, Aquarius, it was like, look, you know, you were trying to get to know them for some time. You were very patient. It's just that this person was being a jerk for whatever reason. You know, this person was making it very difficult on y'all to actually be in a relationship with them, to actually establish anything, to get to know them, even establish the basics. Like, what's their favorite color? What do they like to do? You know, really getting the time to actually get to know them. You know, it was difficult, and they made it specifically difficult for you, Aquarius. And I just see that a lot of you, Aquarius, are ultimately the Eight of Swords. You're not going for that, because it's the question of, why is it that some people are so intellectually dishonest with you, where when it comes to, it seems like everybody else in the world, it seems like they treat everybody else so respectfully, but when it comes to you, Aquarius, now all of a sudden it seems like they have a problem. So a lot of you, Aquarius, are like, you know, if the person seems to really have that type of problem with you, you don't want to be around them. And a lot of you, Aquarius, have started to gain a warrior spirit, in the sense that, yes, you want to be able to socialize and you want to be able to have friends and stuff like this, but you also want to be able to be a lone wolf, because ultimately that's what you, Aquarius, are. A lot of you, Aquarius, are lone wolves. And a lot of you are supposed to be lone wolves. It's just that sometimes you, Aquarius, don't really figure that out up until very much older in age, or not at all. And you continue to have messed up and mixed up and fair weather, quote unquote, relationships and connections with people, right? Half-baked relationships and connections with other people. And truth be told, a lot of you, Aquarius, are pulling that from your opposite polarity in Leo, because Leo has that same issue too, where Leos think that their enemies are their friends. And they love their friends so much to the point where it could end up causing their downfall. Right? Leo and Aquarius are the exact opposites to one another. So you're pulling that from your Leo polarity. And the thing about it is that the Ten of Cups now And the Ace of Wands now represents how a lot of you Aquarius have to understand that, the Ten of Cups represents, so you put that type of relationship down. You said, you know what? You don't even have to really date those individuals anyway. Because what's the point if they can't even have a real direct conversation, a real talk with you? What's the point? There is no point in you wasting your time trying to convince anybody that that doesn't even want to have a conversation that will ultimately tell the fate of a would have been connection between you and this person. So when you Aquarius saw that they didn't really want to have a connection, they didn't even want to have that conversation, a lot of you Aquarius was like, okay, because you're not going to force them. You're not going to force them. Allah says submit. Yeshua says decide, like I was talking about. You understand the power in decision. You Aquarius understand that you're not going to be able to shame, blame, insult, guilt trip, people into being in a relationship with you. They will resent you anyway. So a lot of you Aquarius understand that you have to be more responsible than that. So you didn't even try. You were just trying to get to a real definitive understanding of where exactly you and this person was. And you did get it. It was a waste of your time. So you Aquarius decided to leave them alone. But the Ace of Pentacles represents y'all don't actually feel bad about this. And even if you Aquarius do feel bad about it, you shouldn't, because you won. Even though it may not seem like you won, you actually did. Because this person wouldn't have brought any kind of value into your life anyway. Like it is, I said before, in order to be in a relationship, a successful one, both sides have to be bringing value to the table. And it cannot be transactional. It's not about strictly what the person brings to you or strictly the tangibles, right? You can bring value in the sense that the person is a paragon. The person is an example of being upright and having you strive to be better, as well as bringing those other tangible things to the table. So a lot of you Aquarius should not have to feel like you were robbed of anything, because it was addition by subtraction. You did not lose anything from not choosing to hang out with somebody that all it is that they want to do is squander their interaction that they had that they had with you, when they could have been using it to actually be getting to know you in the first place. So the Nine of Pentacles now is about how so a lot of you Aquarius understand that, and it probably wasn't even long. It was probably like 2 weeks. And this person didn't even kind of put in any kind of effort even in the 2 weeks. They didn't even call you. You were the one probably reaching out to them. You Aquarius probably was the one reaching out to them, trying to say, hey, what's up? Because you Aquarius know how to socialize, but they're socially awkward, So the Nine of Pentacles is about you having other things to do with your life. You Aquarius don't have to put up with, other people's shenanigans. And that's the beauty of actually having value and not sitting up on the internet needing to front like you do. When you really have value, you end up pulling a lot of people's 304 card. You end up pulling a lot of people's 304 card by just doing you. Because a lot of times when people claim like they busy, sometimes they not actually busy. They just trying to run mind games on you to make you feel like you have to say something. You have to, it's a limited time. It's limited time. You have to put in energy. If you don't, then you lose the chance. And that's what gets into what we call subsidizing or sponsoring, if you catch my drift, right? Because that's what a sponsor does. A sponsor feels like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna have an opportunity with this person again. So I gotta immediately ball all out. I gotta go crazy. I gotta wild out. I gotta spend as much as I can. Money, 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 money. And it's like, if you lose the person and you don't really know them like that, excuse me, and you lose the person, who cares if you lose them? Because ultimately, they don't really want to be around you anyway. So the Hermit now is about how this is about your own self-discovery. You know, a lot of you really realize that it's better for you to be by yourselves, okay? Without someone who's going to be around you goofy than a mug anyway, being disrespectful to you, wasting your time. A lot of you Aquarius are finally being able to get that level of respect from others that you wanted to have for a very long time. It's just that you Aquarius didn't know how you were going to get the respect. See, a lot of the things sometimes that you may want, you'll get, but you may not necessarily get it the way that you thought. That's how life works out a lot of the times. And what I mean by that is you're getting the self-respect as far as people that you know, but the caveat is you can't hang out with them, because when you hang out with them, they're going to try to tear you down. So you have to learn to be by yourselves, you know, like the lone wolf, like it is, I said before. A lot, you know, Aquarius is a solitary zodiac sign. And what I mean when I say solitary, I mean a singular, lonely, not alone, not lonely, but alone, right? Meaning that it's something where it doesn't really represent crowds. What it really represents is a level of it represents a person, or it represents a person that is outstanding, someone that stands out from the crowd, and they can't really, especially if they're doing it correctly. But it's someone that stands out from the crowd that can't really fit. They're not really quite like the vast majority of society. It's more so about, that's why it is that, you know, y'all represent the rebel. It's because there's something where you can't, you're not actually exactly like the others. Even if you try, you're not going to be able to fit in exactly like how that chemistry works with others, right? And how others work, right, apart from you. There will be something different with you, Aquarius. And that a lot of you Aquarius, like I said before, you're starting to figure out how to, you know, be able to really what's the word that I'm looking for? Bring that forward, where it's like, you know, you're okay more now with being by yourselves, because a lot of y'all love other people so much to the point where you get bothered when you have to be by yourself. You don't want to be by yourself. Realistically, you don't want to be alone. You don't, a lot of the times you want to be able to interact with others, but again, when you get around other people, they start to wild out. You know, you think like they cool with you, and then the next thing you know, they start wilding out. They start going crazy. They start, you know, backstabbing. They start disrespecting you. And it's like you don't understand where exactly it comes from. And no matter how much it is that you Aquarius try, you're always going to stand out. So this is something that you Aquarius have to understand, to stop trying to fit in the first place. That your role, and this is something that I had to learn myself, because I have Saturn in Aquarius in the 11th house. That what I've had to learn myself is, like, I go in and hang out and kick it and be friends, but then I got to go right back to being the lone wolf again. Like, I could hang out a couple of minutes and that's cool, but then I got to go hang out by myself more than hanging out with others like that, because I'm talking about friendship wise and relationship wise. Because like it is that I said before, Aquarius, I haven't said this for a while, but repetition breeds contempt. You know, when you come around a lot, like people love Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan, who's in Aquarius, Michael Jordan, the basketball player, he didn't pop out a lot. Like, he popped out only when he had basketball games. But people love him because of that. You know what I mean? And when you are too good of an influence in people's lives, where you're too well-rounded, people are gonna start to have a problem with you, because it's like, in this society, you need to be flawed. You need to have some sort of flaw about you. But the Hanged Man in the Wheel of Fortune now is about how, so just be patient and just not take it too personally, because the Wheel of Fortune represents that, ultimately, only the people that can understand your brand of uniqueness, who are unique in that regard within themselves, right, in that sense, will be able to actually interact with you and get along with you without having to exploit you or try to take advantage, or, try to get you caught up in a messed up situation or whatnot. Like, not everybody is, see, that's the thing. Like, you Aquarius do not deal with control. You Aquarius deal with everybody having to learn to be masters of their own selves and their own perspectives. But the problem that a lot of you Aquarius are having, why you can't necessarily seem to fit in, is because most people are dealing with intellectual dishonesty. And I can say that confidently, that most people are dealing with intellectual dishonesty, because they're so busy. Like I said before, most people don't ever really get out of the third or the fourth mode of consciousness. And there's about 9. And then the 9th mode of consciousness, there's infinite modes of consciousness within the 9th, right? But the basic 9, most people can't get out of the fourth or the third or the fourth mode of consciousness. And one of those, whether it's the third or fourth, is about trying to control other people. This is what all the games are about, trying to control other people. But you, Aquarius, living in a different paradigm, let's clarify the Wheel of Fortune. You, Aquarius, living in a different paradigm, marching to the beat of your own drum. Of course, a lot of people are going to have a problem with that. Of course, people are going to really have a problem with that. Of course they are. And the reason why they'll have a problem with that is because so many people are caught up with trying to control others. You want other people to be able to think for themselves and operate for themselves and do the right thing, because they understand why doing the right thing is important. But again, this is why Mercury goes into retrograde so much, because you got a lot of dumb individuals who, the crazy eyes, So to clarify the Wheel of Fortune, now the Page of Swords, the King of Cups, the Six of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, and then you have the Emperor. So to clarify the Wheel of Fortune. So the Page of Swords and the King of Cups represents, once again, branching off. So a lot of you Aquarius have to learn to embrace the branching off of the relationships that you have. Because one of the things that I learned myself, Aquarius, that I'm going to kind of put y'all on game about, is that most people in society can only get you so far. And what I mean when I say they can only get you so far, I mean from the perspective of they can do a specific thing. But just because they can do a specific thing, they may not really be a long-term friend or a long-term relationship commitment, because they are not well-rounded. So in other words, tarot readers who only do tarot, they don't bring any kind of service other than tarot. That's it, And there's a lot of wisdom in tarot, and I'm not bashing tarot, me being a tarot reader myself. That would be hypocritical. But all they are is wrapped up in tarot. So when it comes to actually doing things right, that's on the outside of tarot, they don't really know how to do much at all. They're just regular, you know what I mean? They don't really know how to do much. They don't have any kind of facet. They don't know how to do anything else well. And that's good to a certain extent, because what they do, it means that they have to do it well. But it could also be messed up in the sense that they're very much so immature, or their growth has been stunted, right? So apply that to anything now, Aquarius. Now it's a situation where it's like you have friends specifically, but your friends only go so far as smoking what they smoking. They can't travel on the outside of that. They can't go outside of that. Same thing when it comes to romantic relationships. The only thing that they're here for is they're here for your body. They're here because you look good. They're here because you know. But as far as a real full blown deep connection, a spiritual connection, one of the things that you get in a relationship, which is a spiritual connect, they can't do that. So you have to be able to find someone that is that kind of well-rounded and can do those things well at the same time. So not only are they versatile, but they could do those things well. They practiced more than one thing and they got it good enough on top of that. But other than that, you Aquarius have to learn to embrace the branching off, and don't keep people around that are branching off hard. They're showing you from example. They may not be telling you, but they're showing you from example that they don't know how to do that. That the two of you are branching off. So embrace the branch, embrace the branch off, embrace the splitting off. You know, relationship wise or otherwise, relationally or otherwise, relationship or otherwise. The Six of Swords and the Page of Wands, the Six of Swords and the Page of Pentacles is about, and continue to get to know others, you know, find out what else is out here. And the Emperor, be patient, you know, really pay. I told you that there was a science to really being in love. I told you this, you know, there's a science to it. You want to be able to attract someone that's well-rounded, that has similar values like yourself, but also chooses to be with you. Most people, their heart is not open. Straight up, their heart is not open. I'm being serious. That's the reason why it is that so many people are so caught up thinking with their ego. You try to explain to people something like decency, and like they're playing stupid, and they don't seem to understand that, because they think that you're trying to trick them, or they think that when you're trying to talk to them about decency and stuff like this, they think that, oh, you're weak for that, or you can't talk to them. But what they're too stupid to understand is, if they don't have decency, they're going to make their own life very much so difficult, because they're going to make a lot of enemies that way. But they're so goofy and stupid, they don't really understand that.